Today, we're going to be writing using loops, and this is something that I used to do in my bedroom when I was younger, using a loop pedal that my dad got me. And it would allow you to record up to, say, a minute's worth of music, and then it would repeat that, and you could jam over the top of it. And it was a really cool way of feeling like you were playing with a band or another group of people, even though really you were sat there on your own. And what I found out of that was a lot of really creative ideas used to come out because you'd be inspired by the previous loop. So you would make a chord sequence, and then that would just keep going round and round, and eventually melodies and ideas and rhythms would start to come out. And I actually found I wrote quite a lot of music that way. So I thought today it could be quite a cool idea to replicate that, but within Pro Tools. So what I've set up at the moment is just 9-10 audio tracks. And we're just going to record in, I don't know, say 4-bar loops. And we can really just cut them, move them around, drop them in and out, layer them up, and see what ideas come out. The only thing I have so far is just kind of a small little chord sequence that I think is probably a good place to start, because from a very basic chord sequence, you can really start to develop it into more interesting ideas. Today, also, I thought it would be cool to write in open tuning. So we're in DADGAD, D-A-D-G-A-D. But I've also put the capo on the 3rd fret. So that is now F, C, F, A sharp, C, F for calf or something. And what I find with open tunings as well is all your traditional chord shapes no longer work in the way that you're used to, because you play a D chord, but it doesn't sound how it should because these top 2 strings are now a whole tone lower. And putting the capo up here also, it all tricks your mind into being a bit confused, and everything you know about guitar kind of gets reset. And what I find it forces me to do sometimes is just move around the fretboard until things start to sound good, instead of thinking logically or thinking technically, of thinking, oh, this chord shape usually works. Now I just really have to move around until it sounds right. And the fortunate thing about open tunings is they pretty much always sound good no matter what you play, because you can play all 6 strings and everything everything already sounds pretty and really nice. So I thought that could give us a nice mood. It feels really nice. The chords that I was toying around with were these ones. Something along those lines. So I think let's put our first loop down and see what ideas start to flow from it. As I said, we're going to do 4-bar loops. I set the tempo to 150. I thought that was quite a good speed. So that's gives us a lot of wiggle room there. We can play fast over it. We can play slow over it. Yeah, I think let's put these chords down and start to build up. And I think you'll find that we'll get there really quickly. We'll having them in 4-bar loops means we can just copy and paste stuff and not really even think too much about the performance, because we only have to record for, 5 seconds at a time. I'm hoping that's not going to take forever, even with my semi-poor playing ability recently. I'm hoping I can record 5-second chunks, and let's see what we can do. So let me try and put these chords down. That's the trickiest one for me at the moment, just to try and get that clean. So let's give it a go and see what we get. Okay, maybe we should record in 8-bar loops. I think that's going to give us just a bit more room to feel flexible, maybe. And being loops, one thing that I want to happen is it to start perfectly on time. We talked a little bit last week when I was quantizing the keyboard parts to start bang on, and I think the same thing should happen here. So a good feature in Pro Tools is we can tab to the transient, and the transient is the very beginning of the note. And you can see that I was quite a bit early. So now we've tabbed to it, we can move that across. And now that is 100% bang on the grid. So, oops, sorry, not that. Now we can slide this across, and this is now perfectly 8 bars long. I really like that. This chord here is a bit duff, so let me see if I can just play it once better, and then we'll start looping up. No, not better. Yeah, I think that bit was better. Let's see. I really jinxed it by saying I could play 5 seconds at a time. No. So that's good. And let's just check that the loop is working correctly. That it should be. We can just simply hit Command D and it copy it across. And just visually, so it looks a bit better, I'm just going to consolidate these to be one clip. And you can do that in Pro Tools on Mac with Option, Shift, and 3. And now everything is one nice 8-bar loop. So that's good. Now we've got our first chords in place. And I thought maybe there's a slight variation we could do just to end it a bit differently. A bit more, I don't know what that is. Jazz? Question marky? I don't know. It's just a different flavor, if you like, that we can use later. I don't know why I said flavor. Let's try this again. Yeah. So now we've got both our chord sequences, and let me do the tab to transient thing again. So we just press tab, realize that we were a bit early, move it onto the grid, do a nice little fade using F, and we consolidate that. So now we've got our second clip here. Nice voice break. What we can also do, I don't think we need to right now, but we can actually rename some of these clips. So if I call this main sequence, and then alternate sequence. So now when I copy these across, I can actually see written there within the clip which one we're using, which loop we're using. So why don't we try 3 of that one for that one? We'll bring that on the 4th time. Maybe it's a bit long, but it doesn't matter. And the joy of loops, we can just move these around. We can change them at any time. So now we've got this in place. Let's see if we can build up any form of melody over the top. Something like that, because the loops don't have to be complicated, because they're going to be so layered that they don't have to do a lot. Each layer can really just do a small amount to help grow the song. So let's try that over the top and see how that feels. Maybe 2 on there. how that works. Yeah, I like that. You can see how quick it is to write as well. We just do something, copy it across, and then just start playing over the top of that, and let's see what comes out. So maybe an alternate version of it, maybe something faster. Yeah, I like it already. Maybe a bit more neck pickup, perhaps. Neck split. See how that feels. Even more muted. Good. And something that I didn't do on the last loop that perhaps I should have was play into the repeat. Even though we're going to chop it off, it's more the fact that naturally when you go into there, or maybe you would slide in, that slide in is going to help connect the loops really seamlessly. So here I can actually see where I didn't do that, there's this awkward silence here, and that's where it's really apparent it's a loop. You know, you can totally hear the chop there. Whereas this one, I think it should feel a bit more natural. So from now on, this one, it's okay for now, but from future, I think we should always play into the next loop. That's just my fault for not doing it that time. I'm curious to see if both of these parts we just put down work over that alternate sequence. They don't. So we need a slightly different version. So that's fine. Yeah, maybe it should just go back down to there. So let's get our left ear first, and then we'll do the right one. With the metronome, I am just so good at that. Good. Check that up there, and let's get our fast one. It's muted. Ah, wrong pickup. Ah, that's a classic mistake. Let's go again. Yep, now let's get our right ear. Yeah, weirdly that still works. It's less resolved, but that's okay because there's going to be more and more layers as we go along. So already you can see how quickly we're growing. So why don't we put another couple of guitars on, and then perhaps we should put some drum loops in or some keyboards or some bass and just see where we go with it. Look, we can write so fast with these 5-second loops. I think all the while there's any sort of creativity and imagination, like let's just push for it, and we can always mute stuff out and change stuff around. We could start the song with this one. Like it's super quick. So why don't we come in here? actually works over both sequences, which is quite nice. So let's put it in here. Good. Maybe there's a harmony we could do to that. That's quite nice. Let's see if it works over both sequences. I think let's just record it, we'll copy it, and if it works, great. If not, we can just write an alternate one there. Good. I love writing this way. I don't think I've written this way for years. Like since being in the bedroom when I was, say, early teenagers. It was just such an awesome way to write. And actually that loop pedal, I think it was made by Boss. It had a little drum loop. So you could even, I mean, it was amazing. It was just a small little red pedal. And it was just such a freeing way to write because you don't overthink things. You just chuck them on. And ideas start to flow. And I don't know, there's already a really nice feeling about everything we've captured here. Yeah, it's good. So interesting is that the more we add, of course, the volume's getting louder each time. So it doesn't seem like an issue at the moment. They just kind of keep stacking up, but at some point it definitely will. So we can just open up our automation lanes here. And for example, every time a new loop comes in, we could take these ones down by a couple or something, you know? Let's just see how we go, and we can start layering stuff and thinking about volumes when it becomes an issue. But for now, they just kind of keep stacking up and it keeps sounding okay. Good. I mean, I'm really enjoying this so far. I hope you are. But this is, again, everything in this video series so far, I just want to show you alternate ways of writing and opening your mind to, we're just trying to find where that creativity comes from. We're trying to work out where ideas come from, where inspiration comes from. It's hard. It's because you're not inspired every day. And ideally we should be. So if one technique's not working, let's just try the other one. So if we didn't want to write with loops today, maybe we could write programming on the keyboard, or maybe we could write just with riffs, or any of the other episodes that we've done so far. So this is good. Main sequence, main sequence, main sequence, alternate. Good. We need something more lead liney now. So why don't we gain up a bit on the Kemper? Not super loving the tone. Let's try something a bit softer. The other thing as well, I'm using the Fender today, which is super nice because I can flick through 5 different pickup positions like that. So the thing about layering, essentially, if we ever wanted to do this for real, we've already got 5 guitar players technically. So using the same sound on the same pickup, eventually it gets a bit of a mess. So if we can switch the pickup, that's already helping. Changing the amp, yeah, it's helping. It gives every layer its own space to really be heard, because we might get up to, in fact, let's do it. Let's finish all these 10 and then move on to keyboards or drums or something. So once you've got 10 guitars playing at once, that's going to be quite difficult to pick out each one, which isn't a problem because sometimes you want them to kind of blend and just make this big wall of sound. But if we do want a bit more clarity, just simply switching the pickup can help that. So we were up to... I'm going to remove them, this last one that we did from there, just for now. And we can do our arrangement later. But already we're up to nearly 2 minutes worth of music. It's a really quick way of writing. So let's try that lead line. Even more gain. And what happens if I don't want to switch amps completely just yet? Because I'm quite liking this. This is based on the Brunetti, which is an amp we have down here from Italy. I don't know if they make this one anymore. This is the 059 or the 059 if you're Italian. Sorry, all my Italian friends, for butchering your language just there. But this is another profile done by Alessio, so thank you, Alessio. And it sounds very nice. It's a really super lovely amp, especially on cleans. So let's try it. Check our tuning now, especially on the bends. Here we come. And this could definitely benefit from some huge reverb on it to distance it. And what's great is we can just chuck it straight on the channel. This will also help it loop around, because if we put the reverb via the Kemper, say, when the loop starts, the reverb dies off because it wasn't at the beginning of the take. But by putting the reverb on in Pro Tools, it's going to carry it across into the next loop, so it kind of helps glue the loops around in a seamless way. Quite seamless there. Wow. This is horrifically early. Let's see if we can get away with just moving it on time. All of this is early, my God. I'm not playing very well today. I apologize. But we can timeline this quite aggressively and hopefully count on that reverb to disguise our edits. there's just so many ideas. Like, the more you listen, the more melodies come into your head. And the best thing to do is just put them down straight away. If you can hear them, put them in. So we need a higher one now to cut through. So I think we'll put our gain back down. So, yeah, I told you before that chord shapes go out the window. So just to play something simple like that was a very peculiar shape. But playing it on the strings above, you can just bar that whole fret. So you kind of create new chord shapes, which is super weird. Just because the tuning is strange. And you find that you can just bar everything. So let's try this. Yeah, I like this. And even though it doesn't start at the beginning of the loop, that's a good thing as well. We don't have to start at the 1 every time. And those ideas coming in are going to help shake up the rhythm a little bit. More interesting ideas are coming all over the place. And it means that you kind of keep your attention drifting from one loop to the next one. Good. And although it doesn't start until beat 3, I will still create the loop from the 1. That way everything is nice and uniform and can be copied across. And I'm not really thinking too much about panning. I'm just kind of moving them around as I think about it. So for me, this, let's just put it, it's coming out of the right ear now. And this one could benefit from some reverb as well. But let's put a different reverb on just so our textures are different. Same thing, like trying to think of different ways to make each loop stand out. So a different pickup, different amp, different reverb. We can start EQing later. That will help them all stand out as well. So for now, it's kind of best to let's get the tones to fit straight away before having to worry about mixing them in to each other. I wondered why that wasn't working, and I put it on the DI. Ah, classic. Pro Tools has this thing where you can't copy a mono plugin to a stereo one, but I think you can copy a stereo one to a mono or something like that. Wrong one. Ah, San Francisco Hall. This, Alessio put me onto this as well. This is a beautiful sounding reverb, East-West. QL Spaces, very good. And this San Francisco Hall is a particular favorite of ours. Oh my God, I'm even putting it on the wrong track. I'm sorry. This is falling apart quick, this video. Bear with me. One thing we haven't checked in a while is to see if these work over our alternate chords. Let's try that now. Kind of. To be honest, I'm not really feeling the need for that alternate chord right now. I'm just happy with where we're going. So let's chuck it in the playlist. We also edited these, I believe, so they can go in the playlist as well. And for now, let's just keep rolling with the standard loop. I mean, it's it's closer to how I would have done it back in the day, because you only had the 4 8-bar loop and that was it. It would go round and round. You couldn't make it so that on the 4th time it would be different unless you actually played it like that. So for now, let's just really stick to 8-bar loops at a time. And of course, I wouldn't really be able to do 2 loops at once, so it would look more like this originally, where you had to bring in 1 at a time. But we're doing it through Pro Tools, so who cares? We can put more stuff in as quickly as we want, really, because otherwise it's a long wait to try and get to all 10 of these tracks. Would be at nearly 3 minutes. So let's just start bringing them in quicker. I think it's probably better. And now that we've changed that chord sequence, this can all perhaps move over 1. Good. That comes in. You loop again. Let's try this one. Not fully. Maybe like that instead. That could be quite cool. That way it feels slightly different the second time. Yeah. Feels good. Why not? There's really no wrong answers, because you can just keep putting stuff on. If you don't like them, just take them out. But it's that easy to just put stuff in. And let's see if we can find ourselves one more layer, and then let's start expanding the sound so it feels kind of more like a song. We can put some different drum loops in, bring drums in and out, bring some keyboards in, some bass, some warmth, and then we can have, for the last 20 minutes of this video, we can just have fun arranging it. And at the moment it comes in very statically, one after the next. But why don't we kind of organize it so that there's a sort of structure, potentially verse, chorus, and make it feel more like a song as opposed to a guy just jamming, looping stuff. Let's put some delay on this one while we're here. It's a little bit too dry. As you can see, I absolutely adore Echo Boy Jr. We have the normal Echo Boy, but bizarrely, I don't think I've ever even opened it up. I just love this one. I'm not sure why. Pretty cool. Need something just to stick on that note. Yeah, let's do that one, because that will lift it up as well, I think. I can't play at all. It's incredible sometimes how bad I am. I like like the idea already. It's giving it some urgency. I think I pulled all the faces in that short clip there. Yeah, I really like it. Let's put the guitar down for now. Something we could do, because we've been organizing them just on a track by track, it's the same loop on each track. I think we should label the tracks so it's a bit clearer what's what. So this one here, let's call it chords, because it is. What was this one? I've already forgotten. Pretty 3, because it goes 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I'm not giving them any specific names. 1, 2. The names are appalling. Soft pluck. At the end of it, as long as you know what they mean, that's all that matters. Like, no one's gonna see the names of these when it's released on Spotify or whatever, so who cares what you called it? High pluck. Huge verb solo. Han Solo's cousin. Verb 1, 2, 3. These names are awful, and now I can't even type. Here we go. Verb 1, 2, 3. What is this one? Echo Boy. Echo 80s. It kind of sounds like the 80s to me. And transition / tension, really, isn't it? It's kind of a, you can really use this to build up the sort of anticipation, the intensity I think I used earlier. I think that's probably a good word for it. So why don't we start with some drums so we don't have to listen to this awful metronome anymore. I'm not really sure what kind of drums we should have, so let's open up a few. We could probably get our good friend Get Good on there, so we have a real sounding drum kit. And then we should use some electronic ones as well, because they can really add an interesting character to it, like an opposite sound, something a lot more robotic and cool. You know, so some of these electronic drum sounds just sound really fun. They're really creative. So let's get good up. I have a preset up here that I really like. It's just kind of a kit that I built, and also it stored my MIDI map. So I use a slightly different, it's a MIDI map that I used based off of the Addictive Drums mapping, because there's quite a lot of different articulations that are available in the Get Good drum kit, but they're not actually, you wouldn't know about them, because on the default map, a lot of them are missing. I think like the snare, press roll, some of the hi-hat stuff, cymbal chokes and things. So I've assigned all of the possible articulations to a key, and those keys are the same as the ones from Addictive Drums. So that's good. That's our main kit. We'll call GGD. Let's get up. To be honest, I really like Boom. I think that comes with Pro Tools as well. I'm not too sure. Or this is just a very quick, easy, load it up, get some cool electronic sounds. That's probably too heavy. Could be nice. Too long. Too long. Let's go for this. Call it Boom. And let's get one of the expand ones as well, because they're pretty cool. Something to a different palette to these. So we've got the real sounding kit, we've got the electronic one. Old school, yeah, no idea what that sounds like, but why not? We'll call it old school kit. Color these blue, because I think I talked about in the last episode how I like color organizations. And let's think about some patterns that would be played, and probably a good place to go to is quite a dense part. It gives us a better idea of the feeling. They don't need to do a lot necessarily. I think we could have a section quite crashy. Loop mode. Don't need you. Do clack. Do glap. Do gat. Do gat. That can be a bit softer. Let's try wailing on one of these crash cymbals and see if it's see if it sounds a bit too much in context, but maybe it's okay. And perhaps it's a good idea to not put the crash cymbal at the start, because otherwise that's coming every 4 bars. We could just loop around a crash on its own if we want, you know, the effect of an extra cymbal coming in. It's nice. I mean, it's put it in that rock world, which is cool. I think we should go bigger on the rooms sound, make it sound a little bit more distant, so we can push back our close mics so it feels like the drummer's kind of a bit further away, and that will soften it as well, the overall sound, so it's less intense when that drum comes in. Come on, mouse, there you are. Welcome back. It's good. That's a nice loop. I think we should create maybe another Get Good Drums. So we have our, like we did with the guitars, where each track is just for the same loop. We don't change what the pattern is per track. It's very nice and organized then. So we can call this crashy rock. Now let's go to a softer section and see how we feel. Something more hi-hats. Bass, so we call it hi-hat groove, and we can play to some dynamics a bit more. Everything we programmed just then was max velocity. Now we can do something a bit closer. So let's start with our cymbals, our hi-hats, seeing as though that's the basis for this pattern. More closed, softer in between. Nearly. These ones a bit softer as well, perhaps. That's nicer. That's good, and perhaps on this time we can just do a cheeky quick open hi-hat, which would sound like this once it's looped. Could be nice. Kicks and snares should be a bit softer in velocity too. That's nice. Gag, gag, the second time on the snare. No, I don't like it. Let's keep it down on the kick there. We could just do a couple of ghost notes, maybe. Da-da-dum. Even softer. Yeah. I think I'm changing my mind where that open hi-hat should come. Nearly. I think you can feel how much expression you can get. This is a fantastic drum kit. You can really play with these velocities and get it to sound as natural as you can. Nice without that double. No, not quite. Yeah, maybe that's nice. Just double checking our kicks here, so without the one. Yeah. Yeah, maybe a couple of extra snares here at the end. Problem is we don't want to make a fill, because that fill will keep coming round and round and it'll get very jarring. So if we want to do any slight variation, just like that one snare hit, it can't be too crazy and obvious. Without this kick. I think that's enough. So that can loop, for example, and then our other one comes in. Maybe we can make this a bit closer. So where we upped all the room mics for the big crashy part, let's kind of do the opposite here. We'll boost up some more of these close mics and feel a little bit more intimate. Intimate. And then when we get to the big crashy part, we really open up and hear more of the room. It feels closer. Good. Electronic drums. Why don't we just start with... Because what I like to do with electronic drums is make them quite intense. You can push them. They do lots of crazy, like robotic, quick stuff. It sounds quite glitchy. And if you have them at a lower volume, you can get away with it, because you couldn't do that on the Get Good drums because they sound real, and a real drummer couldn't. I mean, I'm sure some drummers can, but the point of using the electric drums is to make it fake. So let's program some fake stuff in 127 velocity, maximum, really quick stuff, glitchy, you know. It's very artificial sounding, and that's a nice counter to our authentic sounding groove we've got coming up later. This should be double. And you can see I'm really not putting much thought into this. It's so quick, just you can put it all down. It doesn't, there's no wrong answers writing this way because everything just layers up. And if you don't like something, you just take it out or change it. It's so quick, the writing process. And I love that. It's, if you've only got an hour and you want to do something, maybe this is the best way, as opposed to the last couple of episodes where you really have to sit down and try and get those parts right. Maybe this is a good way to write if you haven't got much time, or I don't know, if you just want to sit down and do something right now. Maybe this is a good way to write. At the end of the loop. You can hear pretty quickly how well they work together already. Let's try the third one as well, this old school kit. I have no idea what this is going to sound like. Hopefully it's not terrible. So let's hear it with both of these drums and see what else is missing. Maybe that push. So let's put our snares in. Right. I think it was there that we heard. Any other parts? So do that. This is a very weird one because it's kind of falling in all the opposite places. It's not landing on the one beat. It's starting at 3 and like there's offbeat snares and stuff. But that's cool because it's literally designed to just fill in the gaps. I don't think this is the right sound, but the pattern is cool. I like that. It's a very weird pattern, but to be honest, it works because it's just filling the gaps between the other drums we already have. That needs to come on beat 1. So our loop works. Let's just flick through some sounds now that we've got a pattern. Blimey. Great kick. That's quite nice. I really like that snare. That's very cool. And I bet if we heard this on its own, it's kind of a bit weird and feels wrong. Oops, wrong button. It's kind of cool. Let's try layer it like this. So we're already kind of structuring where we go. Our tension guitar should come here. Let's listen through and think more of the arrangement right now. So where's the one that goes? Maybe it was this one. Maybe we didn't do that. I don't know. But like that shows you've really got more ideas coming. We could even record more layers and more layers and more layers and just like have them all, chop them up, move them to where they need to be. Yeah, so I know there wasn't much talking in that last part, but I think it was kind of obvious what I was doing. I was just going through muting stuff out, unmuting things, moving stuff, chopping stuff, seeing what works. And now we already have a lot more of an arrangement. It feels like the song swells up and then it kind of comes back down again, as opposed to just layer upon layer and layer and layer, and it just like rises up indefinitely. Now it feels like there's an actual climax and then it comes back down, all within less than 2 minutes. And I think that's the joy of writing like this, because you put down as many ideas as you get. We wrote 10 guitar layers in no time, basically. So you put down all the stuff you can, and then you switch to arrangement mode and you just come back and you don't even think about having to play or write. You just put down what you want to put down. So I think the one thing we're missing, let's put like a synth bass and then wrap this video up. But I think this is something I would totally like to come back to. Either we continue this one or we just write another one this way, because I think you could write infinite amounts of songs this way. Even if we use that same chord pattern, you would think of different stuff. If we muted everything out, I think you would always write something different each time, because it's so fast paced and everything's looped around, so it really drills into your head what it is, and none of it's really complex. When you think about it, it's just a 4-chord pattern. Some of the layers just going da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na. It's not insane technical stuff, and I think that's maybe why it's quite easy to keep adding layers, because nothing's really too important, if that makes sense. Like each layer on its own, it's kind of dull, but when they're all in, you can hear how great it sounds. So let's find a cool plucky bass. Dream pluck. I don't have the MIDI keyboard in front of me today, so we'll just program in something. Dun, dun, dun. And also, what are we in? F? Turns out Dream Pluck is a bit too intense for me. Ice Pluck. I just want a bass. Maybe we should just go to basses instead. Retro bedroom bass. Oh, I don't want to flick through sounds forever. I just want something normal. Bass pulse. I bet that's not going to be great either, is it? Oh, that's quite cool. Maybe we should do it on the loud section here. What chords do we go to? That's why. Wrong one. Do, 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 do. Let's stick with this one. It's cool. I mean, I would like to add a lot more keyboards to it. I'd like to add some more guitars. You could put vocal ideas in there. So I think, why don't we come back to this one as well at some point? This could be fun to look at and spend more time on the arrangement, because I think we're just getting into it now. We're just starting ideas. I think keyboard layers are going to be massive. We can put more drum loops on it. So I think it could be a cool way of growing this song. But for now, why don't we take one more listen to all of it all the way through, all 1 minute, 50 seconds of it. And we'll wrap it up until next time. Yeah, so it turns out I wanted that keyboard bass more and more as the song went on. So, yeah, good. I feel like this is a nice place to leave it because I feel like the moment we start getting stuck in with all the keyboards, pardon me, sorry, there'll be another hour to this video. So let's save that hour for another episode. I ideally want to keep these no longer than an hour, but only the first episode so far has actually been an hour. Everything else has been longer. So I really appreciate you sitting through it all. Even if you do it in bits, I really appreciate that. It means a lot. And hopefully you maybe gain something from watching these videos. That's what I hope, at least. I'm really enjoying making these. They're a lot of fun. It's bringing me out of my creative black hole. And I'm really enjoying writing music every week. So thanks a lot for tuning in. As always, Rogue Studios, MyKey Q. Check out our band Anew tomorrow as well. And yeah, more and more shout outs every week. Write me a comment in the YouTube video and I'll shout you out. Eddie Bennett, thank you for your comment on last week's episode, saying you want all my plugins. Please, I'll give them to you. How about that? You've just won all of the plugins. Anyone else who comments on a video, I don't know, I'll shout you out or I'll do something. Maybe we do awards. Maybe, I don't know. I'll think of something. So thanks very much, everyone. Really appreciate it. And looking forward to next week, where I originally wanted to do a really, really heavy song, but I'm in a really good mood at the moment. So maybe not. Maybe we work on this or Paradise from last week. We do one of those. So let's see what happens. See you next week. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.